It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Waike in the building. How you doing?
Yes, I don't normally come on Wednesdays.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yes,
what happened?
I did Valentine on Monday now.
Meaning that?
Meaning that I'm in love again.
You took time off.
Like, so you actually did Valentine?
I went out. We went to Ribbons and Roses.
Oh, that's true. I saw those pictures. Did you okay? Yes, that's true. Oh, that's nice. And
did I call you? Is it me to call? Is it my show?
No, she actually called before she would go here.
Oh, is your show?
No, it's Edila one. He normally
okay.
They normally buys tickets for the show.
Oh.
I mean, we've been going for like 6-7 years.
Yeah. That's nice.
It
was fun.
Yes, we had fun. We played love. They all crashed out when we got home.
Oh, okay.
So there was no
After party.
no after party.
Waike, it is well with you.
It is well, yo. It is well. It is well with Nigeria. All the things happening. Every day. I just reading every day. Hey,
Mouth open.
The Abakari. Those people hailing him Super Cup, they should stop it too.
It was before now.
Look, let me tell you something. When you find out in things about someone like this, all the cases that he has, go and we look at them. They are inside of what we don't know. I'm telling you, go and torture Evans. He will tell you secrets. He will bring out secrets.
It's not a hot topic.
It's not a hot topic, but I must say it.
I'm fine. I wanted to shout out to the Nigerian ladies basketball team. I wanted to do that on Monday. I sort of forgot. They beat France. They were 20 points down before they recovered, and they successfully beat France at the basketball qualifier. I think for the the World International Female Basketball Games coming up. So congratulations to them. I'm trying to remember the name they are called. That's what I'm thinking.
It's not the Tigers.
No, the Tigress.
Tigress.
I think so, the Tigress.
Yes.
So congratulations to the Tigress team. And Jumoke gave me tickets to Ribbons and Roses just in case she's watching. But I don't do Valentine, so I didn't turn up. Yeah.
Okay, today is also to Milamidi's birthday. She's a producer in TVC. She's 40 years today.
Yes, so I wanted to hail her. Please.
Happy birthday to
she also does Arts Express.
Yes. The big 4-0 today. Congratulations to
Yes, congratulations. I meant to send her a text.
So tiny and small. I couldn't have thought. I'd imagine that
she looks like 20.
Yeah, she looks like she's 20.
She's so cute.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm just excited for another day and ready to,
you look like something, just like a Janet Jackson thingy. There was one of those her.
I was actually going for more like French chic.
Anyway, hey, you people gave me Valentine present too. Thank you. Morayo.
Oh, the hair.
And Stopper. They had African hair.
Yes.
They did not have wigs. I was so excited. I said, this is a Valentine gift. Valentine gift for me.
Well, it's just for
this week. So excited today. Valentine was really good, right?
Valentine must have been good for you.
No. That was my Valentine gift. Seeing all of them in their natural hair was my Valentine gift.
Let me go on a break. It's just
it's
just for the week.
Then thank you for lunch. I had Valentine.
She took you guys out.
I got there late, but I still had fun because
we had now. You took them for drop-offs for Gary.
No, they went on their own. I told them I had my own worker. They insisted I show up, and I always don't show up for these things. So I made sure I showed up.
Yeah,
and
so you drinking out of the bottle, you know.
It's not only that. I ate from all the plates. So they had fresh tomatoes, so I don't see tomatoes in my eyes. So I started picking from them. They were eating salad, and me, I don't usually, but I eat fresh tomatoes. So
we'll take you out more often. Let's go on a break. When we return, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, starting with the nation. Buhari governors meeting on APC convention fails to hold. Picture story here. General forfeits 10.9 billion naira properties to government. INEC insists on BVS on Ekiti, Osun, elections. Aregbesol's thugs fired gunshots without provocation, says police.
Wow.
Petrol subsidies pending, put at 2.55 trillion naira. Olubadan to be craves for younger monarch in future. ICPC blocks 189 billion naira on spent funds in MDs. And Bala Usman removed as NPA MD for insubordination. Okay, which story?
Should I,
Let's start with the picture story, or which one?
Okay, yes, the EFCC has yesterday obtained an order from the Federal Court in Abuja for the final forfeiture of assets estimated at 10.9 billion owned by a top military officer. I don't know why we don't name these people. So this top military officer was alleged and now, of course, proven that he has fraudulently acquired these properties across Kano, Kaduna, Borno, Cross River states. They comprise of land, shopping complex, gas stations, fuel stations, and everything together came to about 10.9 billion. I mean, they named every property, you know, one after the other, and that's what even took up most of the report, the number of properties that he had. They said that the order before the forfeiture had put up in the media, like anyone, if you have any reason to, you know, to come out against the forfeiture of this item, if you have any interest in it, come out and, you know,
so when we
talk to the court. Nobody came out. They said he used different proxies and fronts to run these businesses.
So when we talk about police welfare, military welfare not being done, it's because somebody has stolen
like
the money,
transferred into their pockets.
Use the money to buy properties. Yes, another story in Nation. The major headline, let me take that story. So Buhari and the governors were supposed to meet in Abuja yesterday. And all the governors, the governor of I think governor of Ekiti State, governor of Kaduna State, Imo State, Cross River State, Kogi State, and others were there. They had planned to meet with him to discuss ahead of the planned February 26th convention. Unfortunately, at the time they got to I was going to say the White House. By the time they got to Aso Rock, by the time they got to Aso Rock, they said that Aso Villa. They said the president had to go to Brussels. So unfortunately, that meeting couldn't hold. And now, that still puts the whole convention on a limbo because they're thinking there's a possibility that the convention might not hold because that meeting is necessary for them to understand where the president is leaning towards for the chairmanship of the NWC, which is likely to influence
supposed to hold on the 26th of February.
Yeah.
And, but he did meet with two governors. He met with Hope Uzodimma and
Imo State.
Imo State.
And Imo State and one other one, Kogi.
Okay.
Bello. He met with those two.
Okay. All right. Let's move on quickly now to the Punch. Abba Kyari's brother received 279 million naira from Hush Puppy, and others, says police report. Top military officer forfeits 10.9 billion naira property to federal government. EFCC shields identity. Oshogbo shootings. Police indict Aregbesol's men. NCDC assault cops. Student demand action. Maritime workers begin strike March 1st. Vow to ground port operations. Fuel subsidy. FG states set for showdown over planned 950 billion naira FAC deductions. An APC convention shaky. Buhari shuns governors. Jets off to Belgium. Okay, major headline, please.
Because I've not said my own on this matter. So the police investigations have led to found a 235 million naira paid into an account of a relative of former DCP Abba Kyari. And in the story, I had to read to the end to get his name. Usman Ibrahim Husseini Allah. So, and they also found in their investigation a 44 million naira also directly funneled equally by the Abba Kyari himself to this same relative, his brother, according to the report. They were also able to trace the money from Hush Puppy's assistants, one Efe Martins, who paid severally to some of their cronies, one Sikiru Adekoya, Usman Ibrahim, and then this Husseini Allah, who's Abba Kyari's brother. You know, the story came out of that it was while he was on suspension that he tried to do that drug deal that, you know, that finally locked him down. This is someone who sort of, to him, is above the law. So you're on suspension for having links with someone undergoing trial. The whole world is shouting. Some of us, we are tearing body on the matter, and you had to do another deal. To convert. So we've seen Abakari lead the toughest of investigations. Where is Wadumi? 3 police officers died on that mission. And you're investigating Evans. Evans has been in courts forever. His lawyers are even putting up more than a defense. They are now putting up an abuse of his fundamental right on a case that you investigated. All of those unending investigations that he led is because of things like this, because of cutting corners and doing your own deals within investigations. So you start a media trial, you start to resort to...
My own problem with this is, this investigation did not come out yesterday. They didn't find this out yesterday.
No, they didn't.
So you have waited for NDLEA to shout before you to start crying. Who doesn't know that the witch cried last night and the baby died this morning? Like it is the witch that cried last night that made the baby. I will only speak in parables.
Okay, let's take another story.
Yes. So the workers in the maritime sector are saying that they will go on strike starting 1st of March, and they're going to shut down port operations. And the reason is because they claim they're accusing the international oil companies of failing to allow stevedoring companies access to their platforms to commence operations. They says it is inconceivable that up till now the IOCs have bluntly refused to allow the appointed and deployed stevedoring companies to commence operations on platforms. This is a sharp contravention of the provisions of the Government Maritime Notice 106 of 2014. So my question is, why do we have to wait up until strikes threatened before we sort issues out? Everyone is shutting down. Also is shutting down. What has been the conversation concerning this? Why do they have this problem? And why do we have to wait until they are threatening strike before we're hearing about it in the papers? I hope that they can amicably resolve these issues, because to have the port operations shut down, we understand exactly what that will mean for businesses and just life in general for us.
All right, so Emefiele's friends came together to refute the claims that Mr. Godwin Emefiele is trying to run for presidency. These rumors came out and said these are distractors, said that he has not confirmed to anyone that he's running for president and that he should be left to focus on his work. Specifically, said Emefiele is focused on his unfinished job and should not be distracted. One issue critics have continued to raise is the issue of rice pyramid, which was recently unveiled in Abuja, but these are just critics of Governor Emefiele, and that they should let him just do his job. Okay, let's move on quickly now to... Oh, there's another story in Punch. I thought there was another story that caught our attention. Okay, let's go on a quick...
Yes, there was the Eric Bashola story.
You have that story?
Yeah, the police have accused him of, or his men, not him, of firing indiscriminately with NSDC officials. NSCDC officials. And after his convoy left the place where they fired shots, they found 13 rounds, and so they are complaining. Meanwhile, the officials, the NSCDC officials have come out to say it's not true, that hoodlums came out and attacked his convoy, which is why they fired into the air.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, move on to other papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to Daily Trust. Motorists groan as petrol sells 600 naira to the litre in Abuja. How Ogun couple killed woman, sold head for 70,000 naira. Buhari confirms Bello Koko as NPA MD. Man sets himself ablaze to protest seizure of vehicle by LASMA. Buhari to National Assembly, remove your 887 billion naira projects from the 2022 budget. Drug dealing, NDLEA grills Abakari and others. Clerk defies retirement, perform duties at Senate plenary. Okay, which story?
Yes, I'll take the major headline. So, as we know, Nigerians are really suffering. This fuel scarcity has become, I mean, we thought it was going to be a few days, but here we are today. There are reports from all over, Nigeria and Abuja, especially. They say right now people have to buy petrol at 600 naira per liter from the black market, as against the 162, 165 at the fuel stations. But there's so many queues at the different fuel stations in Abuja, in Port Harcourt, in Lagos, in Kano. The Statistician General of the Federation, Dr. Simon Harry, has said that this was going to cause an artificial shock in our economy, that what this would lead will be increase in the price of commodities and services, transportation will go high. And true to his word, of course, with the queues, people are complaining that prices of things are going up because they have to sort of, compensate for how much they pay for transportation. Many people are stranded at bus stations, waiting to get vehicles because many of the vehicles are at the queues waiting to get petrol. For those who have to get from the black market, it would affect their prices for the transportation. Many activities in Lagos have been hampered because of these queues, because of these prices. Just different things. We know that this is going to happen, but NNPC had said when this started, when we heard about the adulterated fuel, they had said that they had about 1 billion liters of petrol in stock, and they had about 2.3 billion arriving. So there was we were assured that we were not going to be in this situation, stranded. But here we are today talking about it.
Okay, I want to take the last one story. So,
you doing with the one with the fire, the guy that says
yes, that's the one I want to take.
Okay.
So, do you have it?
No.
So, this bus driver at Sajao Estate area in Lagos was stopped by LASMA for contravening what they called traffic contraventions, and they just, he was begging. And while he was begging, one of them jumped in his bus and took it away. Out of frustration, the guy went in the back, and now that we have scarcity, he had fuel in a gallon. He poured it all over himself, brought out a lighter, and set himself ablaze. The sight of him burning provoked his colleagues to, start to attack the LASMA officials. And so before you knew it, Agbero, street touches and touts, everybody joined in. And it was a major madness situation. Caused traffic, of course. The man has been taken to the hospital. His boss has been still apprehended. He himself does not stand a chance of making it. According to one of the eyewitnesses, his name is Kazim, he said that he doubts if he will make it. He says that these drivers, the way they treat us as if we are cat and mouse. They attack us at every opportunity. They treat us like slaves. And, I don't know what has to be done. I don't know who the new boss of LASMA is, but we need to talk. These constant attacks and, this kind of, we must find a way now to avoid it as much as possible. I don't know whatever kind of problem that man was dealing with, but the way he put himself on fire in the middle of everywhere is not something that stays for at all.
I think they need to be more proactive. See, just take pictures,
But sometimes these are also attacked. I know a few of them have died.
They've been killed.
Yes. They've been killed. So
I'm not talking about the LASMA now. I'm just saying the LASMA. I'm not accusing the LASMA.
No,
I'm just saying that there should be a way that when you go and renew your license, that's where they just seize your car.
Yes.
These are your infractions. And they have it in some places. Like one of my brother's drivers took the bus and went to. When they went to another place, they saw the bus. This bus has this. This is your fine. So they can do that.
They already do that.
They have the technology. It's not across the entire state. They've not deployed that across the state, but I know that there are certain specific places where they have that technology. Let's take another story. There was a clerk. Let me get his name. You read that story?
I don't know.
Please go ahead.
Go on.
So the clerk's name is a retired clerk. His name is Ibrahim Dauda El Ladan, and he was supposed to retire February 9th. And they gave him a letter to that effect of retirement. And they've actually asked him to hand over to somebody else. I can't remember the name of the person. I think is the deputy clerk, Iloba Isabella Ugochi. But the man refused to leave. And why? He came back to work.
Let me take the reports here.
Yes.
So he was asked he was found guilty of
fraud,
cases of forgery and age falsification.
Okay, they doesn't have that story.
Himself and another Adebayo Anthony Adebanjo. So the National Assembly Service Commission then directed that they retire immediately. I think that's the most honorable thing. Because if they just sack them, all their entitlements taken, retire immediately means that you still get something. But not like the man no go agree. He came and he started working to perform his service. And the Senate president was not taken along in the story that he allowed him, knowing that he had been put on immediate retirement, and that they set him someone acting in his capacity, and they did not recognize that person to act.
They asked to actually write him officially that he's not allowed to resume.
He's been written to in the Sun. The report says that he was.
Now we know his name. If you just Daily Go, nobody will know what happened. Now we know what happened. Moving on quickly to Daily Sun.
He shouldn't have been allowed to work. The Senate president has been indicted here.
Yes.
Okay, fuel landing cost rises to 307 naira as Buhari seeks fresh 2.5 trillion naira subsidy. Bad fuel, Buhari never ordered Sylvia to query NMDPRA head, say sources. Emefiele's friends clear air on rumored presidential ambition. $418 million Paris Club refund, court fixes March 25th for suit by 36 states. Confusion in Senate as retired clerk refuses to vacate seat. Okay, with that story. OAU murder, students blame hotel owner and demand justice. Drug saga, police grill Abba Kyari. Okay.
Story.
Yes, go ahead.
So the presidency is saying that there's a news that's making the round that the president had ordered the query to be issued to the CEO of Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, that's NMDPRA, Farouk Ahmed, over the importation of adulterated fuel. The presidency is saying that nothing like that happened, and what the president is interested in is for all stakeholders to team up and resolve the issue that has brought untold hardship to Nigerians who queue hours on end to get petrol. So there is no directive from the presidency directing the Minister of State, Timi Pray Silva, to issue a query to the NMPDRA boss. Only that he's asking that all stakeholders put their heads together to sort out this issue.
I don't really see why they issued that statement, because it just makes us know that they're not going to query or investigate this matter. You are supposed to be investigating the matter so we will know how the bad for people's engines knocked now.
Yeah, several times. I mean, I read in the papers where they actually said they're going to investigate, and then even suggested that they're going to compensate. So we heard that
because people's cars are broken down because of
making people feel bad that you're not even going to investigate.
Let me take this story from OAU. So many of you know the story of this child that died in septic time. We took the story some time ago. Anyway, the National Association of University Students have blamed the negligence of the hostel owner for the fall of this Ajibola heritage, a part 2 students of the Department of Linguistics. So they had a press briefing to say that they completely blame the hostel owner. And again, this is also a reminder of what happened even with the private school, the low-income private schools talked about recently. So there's a lacuna. Government says, okay, help hostel owners, help us to accommodate our children, because we cannot obviously afford to accommodate all these children. They come in, and it seems like government just hands off. Okay, once the hostel owner takes it over, they don't do proper maintenance of these hostels. Eventually, they hand over, and these owners then completely put the lives of these children in danger. Same thing with the low-cost private school. They were trying to meet a gap. Unfortunately, government hands off, and then your children are put in this kind of situation where
you're not private property owners.
Yes, they are.
And so lack of maintenance of buildings.
Exactly, I'm saying the same thing.
But because they're adults, when they go, the government really just assume as we will rent our houses and have a relationship directly with our property owners. So this is a case of negligence, and I believe the family can sue.
Yes. So government should put a standard. This is the standard for you to be a hostel owner. These are my standards. Every room must have this. You must clean every single day. There are certain standards the government should have to regulate them, at least somewhat.
Okay. I'm not really sure government is to blame here.
Okay, moving on now.
For once, I'm with the government.
All right, let's move on to, I think we're on time. Let's just take one story in Vanguard. Is there a story we have not taken? Buhari appoints Bill Okoko, substantive MD, NPA. Stakeholders worry over increased ritual killings in Oshun. And 2023, PDP will remain in opposition if, says Lamido.
The Kyari arrest, wasn't it in Vanguard?
Okay, so let me take
Yes. Taking Abba Kyari already.
No, how it happened.
We took the story yesterday, right?
Yeah.
All
So Mohammed Bello
Marwa went to the
IGP.
To the IGP. The IGP wasn't expecting him, and they just said, I went to go and tell the IGP, who was praying to God, that Marwa is outside. Doing what? And he just entered. See you. Gaga. See video of your person.
Are you serious?
I was saying,
Are you for real? I didn't read it though.
Why can't we Jan?
So he now said, you have to hand him over.
Yeah. Yes.
And that was it.
That's how they said,
I'm done with this horror for president.
Anyway,
because I like the way he just handled, because he knows that out of respect, let me be the one to go and tell your guy directly.
Two agencies. If you go and let clash happen now, they will say they will not release.
Yes.
So it was the police themselves that went and arrested
all those guys.
After the
we have to
last story, yes. So Mr. Mohammed Bello Koko has been confirmed by our president as the substantive MD of Nigerian Ports Authority. We know that he has been acting as the MD for 8 years, and now he's been finally made and confirmed the MD of MPA. He's been here on our show.
He was.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll move on to our hot topic of the day, which is this fuel subsidy matter. No, fuel scarcity matter. Stay with us. Subsidy matter.
Yeah, all together.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So Nigerians have expressed deep concern over the lingering fuel scarcity in the nation as the situation is gotten worse. People are lamenting and groaning at the same time, asking when will normalcy return. We'd like to hear your thoughts and your experience in the last 1 week that this started. You can join the conversation 081-270-53687. 091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC. Send us messages on YouTube and Facebook. We'll be happy to read your thoughts. Now, yesterday I was driving down, is it Kudirat Abiola Way, and there was traffic all over because of the gas station. People were trying to get into get into the station, and it was really, really painful to see people actually having to park their car and just wait. Then I went later in the evening, and it was exactly the same thing. I said to myself, oh, my council, I'm not even going anywhere. I'm not going anyway. After I finish my show, 1-2 back to the house, because
save your fuel.
We have to save our fuel. We don't even know when it's going to end. And you took the story this morning of all the updates. So we'd like Nigerians to call in to let us know what their experiences were. But I'd like to start with the ladies. How was your experience?
You know me, I don't go out unnecessarily. I don't. My only pain is that when I go to Theo's place, and Theo's place is so far from my house, so I use a lot of fuel going there and coming back to this side. But when I'm here at this side, it's just, I don't shrine here, I don't waka, because I can't afford to go and sit down on any queue, you know, for how many hours of my life will I, but I know that this morning coming here, the traffic, where the filling stations were, traffic, Dolapo, I spoke to Dolapo this morning, he said he got up at 5. He got here at 8, just to go make sure he bought fuel. He said people were cleaning their teeth in the filling station.
I mean, they had slept over.
I was speaking to a woman yesterday, she was talking to me yesterday, she just said, I said, Kilode. She said, Fifi, Kiuni. It's affecting people. And you haven't come up, you haven't given us any explanation.
Like it even make it worse. That one is what? There's no electricity.
Exactly.
There's money that's you write fuel for generator, and there's no air blowing. I don't even know if you guys is only me. There's no air.
Dry season.
And there's no electricity. I don't know how everybody else has it, except my own streets. We don't have electricity.
So, and you know what I will say about your own?
Yeah, but let's forgive her for today.
Let's forgive you for today.
My experience.
I didn't expect that this would last this long. By the time when they said that the treated fuel was out there, it was last week, Monday, and I was just grateful to God that I came home with half a tank. So I kept saying, and I'm on a week break, so by the time I recover from all of this bad news would have passed. But as at this morning, the filling station that was even selling overnight, that I said, no need to go and sleep over, this thing will soon pass away. The filling station don't lock gates. So now I'm at a place where my red light is already blinking, and I don't have fuel. The situation is as bad as showing the lapses within the supply system that has been so well covered up. So yes, you supplied bad fuel. It's traceable from the source to the stations that are complaining where they bought.
Which they've done.
So recover the bad fuel faster than we even think. You know, recovering it is easy. Send your tanks. It's NNPC that brings in this fuel. So send NNPC tanks, recover them, take ownership, and let the people know that, you know, they've been recovered. So we can then trust systems. Initially, the first week, there was still no scarcity, but there was a trust issue. People were already claiming that their engines were knocking down in Lekki area, and so people were now scared of where to buy fuel.
Yeah.
You see people attempting to buy in gallons, in pure bottled water bottles, so that they can see the quality of the fuel before they put it in their tanks. See, this thing could have been averted. We don't even need. I didn't expect that by now, 2 weeks after, we are still here.
So it wasn't so much, what they're saying is not so much about also the contamination. That's one thing. The other thing was the issue of the operational cost is that the markets are not loading because they've not reduced this cost issue that they raised.
Each other.
Yes.
So the week just before contaminated fuel issue came out, this was already in the news that they were already discussing landing cost issue.
Yes.
As at this morning, the federal president is asking the National Assembly to remove certain imputations into the 2022 budget and allow them raise the 255 trillion naira for subsidy that they were looking at. So these were already in the news. These were matters that they could have, you know, met with. But because of that contaminated fuel issue, the marketers then took advantage of it. And now all of them, they sealed up since then. So you had just a few filling stations, major marketers selling. If you're coming on this way now, if you don't reach your hand, you will not secure. The same thing happened all the way. All the major marketers were the ones who sealed up. 40 and all of them. They were the ones selling. They were the ones people you will seek you around. Until now, that situation is still there. You now bring this hardship on people, like what the song talked about. In my own area, people are moving out of the house at night to go and make sure that they buy. Sleep over at the filling station.
Yes, my own thoughts are, you know, just to take it from the papers here, Dr. Simon Harry, the Statistician General of the Federation, where he says that it will cause an artificial shock in our economy. So we now have black market. People are buying at 600 per litre. Now, what we've heard from sources from the reports is that there are some fuel stations that have decided to sell to black marketers instead because they'll make more than sell to motorists. So this is the problem that we hope would have been averted from the beginning. We understand when there's scarcity, then the parallel market becomes, you know, would start to boom. And people, if there's no one to address it, to regulate it, we'll have situations like this where we have also created another false scarcity.
Absolutely.
So I hope that all the agencies that are that have the role of checking that these petrol stations have the petrol in their fuel stations and are selling it at the right price to motorists, not that they are putting petrol aside. They have this information. This is not information that is hidden to them. So we have to always, I just hate that we're in this situation 2 weeks after, because this is something that we can, we could have avoided. See, when they said that activities are hampered, prices of costs of goods and services have gone up, who is going to compensate Nigerians? One thing that happens is that once prices of transportation goes up, it remains that way, even when we now have petrol in our, you know, we now have petrol. Yeah. What would now happen to the prices of transportation? Right. It will remain the same. Yeah. Constantly, we keep suffering over and over again, and I don't understand why our government seems not to be in charge of this.
Let me take this call from Yakub. Yakub, are you there? Hello, Yakub? Hello, Yakub, are you there? Okay, I think we're having issues with our phone lines. All right, let's go to... Yakub, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Very clearly. Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, this is Yakub.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, hello, good morning. Thank you very much. Morayo, Sister Yeni, good morning. And then Nima and Miriam, good morning.
Morning.
Morayo, this queue, it is uncalled for. It's uncalled for. I can tell you categorically that there are fuel. This filling station, they had enough fuel to sell to us. What happened in my area is this. I bought from one of the filling stations in Dokwemu. Last week, I bought it at rate of 162 naira. Getting there yesterday, I'm number 5 in the queue. When it got to my turn, and then they have changed their pump price to 170 naira per liter. When it gets to my turn, this guy just decided that there is no fuel again, which I know there is fuel in their tank. Do you know what I did? As I'm talking to you, Mario, my car still remains inside that station. I park it at the pump area. And then I left my number to call my number. I will not take my car inside this filling station. This is my number. Now, this morning now, they were not started calling me that I should come and carry my car. I said, no, you had this. You just decided to hold it. I bought fuel in this same filling station last week at rate of 160, 162. Now you change it to 170, and then you still don't want to sell. If you like, do anything to my car, I will report you. My car still in that filling station up to this moment. They have this fuel, they just don't want to sell it. It is absurd.
All right,
Good morning.
Thank you very much, Jaco. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Staying with us. So we're still discussing this issue of scarcity. Now, what we know, obviously, is that the NNPC is still going back and forth with these 4 oil trading companies who are responsible for this off-spec vessel that we got, of petrol that we got into the country. And then the Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria said they've received 2 vessels to help to offset this this gap that has been created. Unfortunately, it's still not meeting the demand. And, and we know that NNPC is also working hard to ensure that all the polluted, contaminated fuel is totally removed from the market. So while that is ongoing, there's still this huge scarcity that Nigerians are experiencing. On the phone now is Dr. Moyo from Ibadan to tell us her own experience. Good morning, Dr. Moyo. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead, please.
This cost scarcity issue is affecting everybody, both car owners and those who don't have cars. Yesterday, when I came back from work, normally I took a bike.
Can't hear her.
It's supposed to be 100 naira. I took it for 200 naira.
Can you imagine?
I went to the market and food stocks have been increased. Normally, there's already expensive food stuff like that. It's affecting every other sector. The Bible was so frank to understand. When I got from the gate, they said they cannot order fuel. They cannot order rather, no fuel. I just in my mind, I said nothing can take away my food. I just went to go and have my back because it's affecting every personal life. I refuse to be toxic. I refuse to be cranky or grumpy. My food inside the freezer, I have to keep everything because I don't like to keep it. And I just slept. Everything is making people's lives.
Okay, we can't hear her at all. So, guys, as I was saying, I mean, it's just a really, really horrible
for
situation.
me, this is just so painful. This is, like I always say here, this is because of the failure of every administration who has watched our country as a crude oil producing country refine its oil abroad. I don't understand. That thing I will never understand. It's that
domino effect. One thing happens and everything just falls apart across board.
I will never understand it. How do you... Okay, now, just recollect the... For me, it's still about the fuel issue. It's not about the cost of landing and all of that. All of that is because, of course, we don't refine here. How can we be a part of OPEC and we don't refine here? We don't even refine.
This is a conversation we've had several times.
This is why we're here. This is why we're here. In the immediate, what are we going to do? NNPC till now has not issued a statement on whether the bad fuel was recollected or what has been done to the person who supplied it. What has been done to where it was refined? How can you even control that? So talking of abating the situation.
They have said that they're investigating. That much you know. How far they go in the investigation?
They are investigating.
The name of the tank farm where it was gotten in Jegu was in the news. I don't just want to mention. So what are you investigating again? That you don't know who brought it, and you don't know where it was supplied or the places it was supplied that you can recollect. And with that big a nation that you need to investigate in months to find out what?
Even if they're investigating, should they not come and tell us, okay, we are investigating, so because we are investigating, you are not going to have fuel.
Exactly.
So all of you
Dr.
work
Moyo
from home.
talking.
So based on what the
And we can do your view from the house now.
So based on what the oil marketers are saying, based on what I read, so they received 2 vessels, but they're not loading. And they're not loading because of this issue of operational costs that they've been complaining about. So the fuel is here. These 2 vessels, according to the Major Oil Marketers Association. But the why they're not loading is an issue where the federal government, that's a problem. So we have to find a way to get this. We're trying to get somebody from there to speak to us now. We have him already. I'm told that we have him already. I think is the President Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, Yusuf Lawal Uthman. Good morning, sir. Are you there? Okay, I'm told we just lost him. All right, so we'll come try to connect back to him.
So sadly,
yes. Miriam was going to speak.
Yeah. So I remember that we had him come on, I don't know if it's the same person, come on the show just before, this scarcity became a problem, explaining to us the cost of operation, how it's not reflecting the recent economic times. And I thought that, it would be easy to sort that situation out, especially given that this will be happening. We always react, we always wait until things finally, just scatter before we decide to do what is right. So now we have this situation. Like YK said, we need to hear from NNPC what they are doing. They have already said, as in the papers, they said that they have, that they're expecting by the end of February some vessels to come in, and that we have 1 billion liters. And I also remember that they had said the amount of the adulterated petrol was like 1% of what we would normally use. So it's not something that we should have felt even. It should have just been like a blur. But it's affecting everything. So if NNPC is not sure, is it that it's not sure of where this adulterated, how far these adulterated products have gone, they can tell Nigerians not to even buy petrol for now and give us maybe a few days, 3 days. We are going to be stranded. The economy is going to be stranded for a while. We're not sure. Give us 3 days to investigate to make sure that this petrol does not end up in your cars. Yeah. Because we also still have reports of people saying that there's petrol that they have bought that is affecting them. So we need to check those places that they have bought them from. But it just seems weird. It just seems wrong that we're going on 2 weeks and people are queuing up for petrol that we have enough of.
Yeah. All right, let me take this call from Samuel. Good morning, Samuel. Are you there?
Hello.
Good morning, Samuel. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. What my contribution about this is that from the Nigeria, we don't like challenges where we're supposed to. Because some are now challenge their claim to filling station. Why we are not talking of the people that brought this thing in? Because this thing is thing that got into us. So many countries rejected it. But our people, maybe if it's talking of 1 billion, they will bargain for 200,000. If they give them, they'll bring it here, hoping that after all, 2 months, the thing will vanish and we'll stop talking about it.
Okay, I think we're having issues with our audio this morning. So let me take our guest, because as I said, we have with us the president of, let me see if I have his name again here.
Uthman.
Yes. We have the President Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, Yusuf Lawal Uthman. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, so we were discussing earlier of this issue that Nigerians are facing, this scarcity. And there have been 2 major issues that have been highlighted. First, the contamination with the methanol that we talked about earlier. And also the fact that the marketers are refusing to load. So NNPC did tell us that they have about 1 billion liters in store, and about, I think, expect about 2.something billion very, very soon. So so we have the fuel. But marketers are refusing to load, and that's why we're seeing this scarcity where the petrol stations are not having any fuel for everybody to use. So what are we doing? What has been done? Because we heard that they're also investigating. Do you have an idea how far they've gone and where we are concerning restoring normalcy to this situation?
Well, thank you. Good morning, viewers.
Morning, sir.
Actually, from what I heard, because like I keep saying the last time, I'm not competent to talk about the fuel quality and the volume. Yeah. But we are aware, because we're on ground, that the volume on ground is very much good. And the fuel quality, it's not that it's not really bad. You know, it's unfortunate the fuel that was brought, just a percentage, but the fuel that was brought in was because of some water that was joined with the fuel that made it look bad. But it's not really bad. The fuel is good. The metal is not as much as people just make much noise. The truth of the matter is the distribution. There is a lot of fuel in the country, a lot more are on the queue. But the problem we have is that so you bring, if you don't have a distribution, we'll be where we are. But I must confess to you also, we have met the chief executive of the Nigerian Midstream Downstream Regulatory Agency. He listened to us, he appreciates our trouble, and he's doing something about it. I believe something meaningful will come out, and all these queues will gradually ease out. But from our perspective, the problem is distribution, and the management of the authority have also said there is need to do something about it in view of the rising cost of operations.
All right, so, okay, I'm having trouble. Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we still have with us the President Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners, Mr. Yusuf Lawal Uthman, on the phone with us. And joining the conversation is the General Secretary, NUPENG, Comrade Afolabi Olawale, also joining the conversation. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, yes. So we're going to continue with Mr. Uthman first, before I come to you, Comrade. You were saying earlier about distribution. You talked about distribution, the issues we're having. Could you, we lost you for a few minutes. Could you just say exactly again what you said earlier? What's the problem with distribution exactly?
What I said is that there is enough fuel in the country, and a lot more fuel from information available. But you know, like I said, I'm not competent to talk about the availability of fuel into the country. But what I said is the distribution. Most transporters, because they don't make money, are no longer interested or have parked because of the cost of operations. That is it. Okay. Because you can have as much fuel as possible, but when you don't have the trucks to distribute the fuel, it's not that you have, but people are no longer interested because there is no much gain. But like I said, we have met the authority chief executive, and we have put our issues. He has listened to us, and of course, he promised to take up the issues with the relevant authority. And I believe with that, a lot more in the next few days, I believe there will be meaningful progress.
Right, okay. So let me now come to the Comrade. Comrade, do you have an update for us concerning this contaminated fuel? What has been done so far? Has it been taken out of the market, or are we still having issues in tracing them?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Because this matter is under probe now. We need to be careful the kind of words that we put out there. I can confidently tell you that effort is almost completed in retrieving everything back to the tank. I don't think there is so much outside the game. As we talk, the major shortage now is getting the new one back into the system. Because, the container, the depots where these products are, they can't just throw them back into the sea. We have to dispose them up in an environmentally friendly manner. So in that kind of situation, there is a slight hiccup to get the system back normally. Okay. It's just like you have anything contaminated in your water system. You have to find a way to retrieve it and dispose it up. But I can assure you, by the end of this week, entering next week, we should have improvement concerning that. Aside from the challenges of the marketer, the transporters, concerning the fuel distribution, as the president of NATO just mentioned.
Okay, comrade, I just want to be sure. Are you saying that even after you are able to environmentally dispose of the adulterated product, that this distribution would still affect what the NATO head is talking about, will still affect us, as in there will still be fuel scarcity because of that? Or once this has been environmentally disposed of, the distribution is not such a big problem that it would affect fuel distribution or scarcity?
No, we're having two issues on ground. The first one is about this unfortunate contamination of the product that they are distributing. That's one aspect of it. It's not within our own control. It's with the government and the marketers. But we have our own issue on ground. And this issue has been lingering up for quite a while. Our petroleum product, PMS especially, is fully regulated. It's not deregulated. And everything is fixed. So the transporters have been having issues concerning this. And you also realize that our pipelines are no longer working because they've been compromised seriously. So the only way of distributing products is through trucking. But this same trucking system I've been having a series of challenges. And one is about the issue of the fixed rate. The operating cost of running this transport business has quadrupled in the last 1 year. We look at cost of diesel. Let's pick an item, for instance. The cost of diesel. Every truck we're using to distribute products, they use diesel. Diesel, as at last year, January, was selling around 170, 180. But right today, as I'm talking to you, the price is 410 above. So now compare a man that uses 1,000 liters to carry products and is on fixed rate of 2 naira.
Yes.
But the cost of diesel then was 170, 180 per liter. On the same 2 naira as the freight rate, is still carrying that same product to the same distance at the rate of the cost of 410 naira per liter for the diesel is using. It's a common sense matter. It's not skyrocket matter. So look at it. How will a businessman operate in that sense? That's number one. But our major concern is not about the transporter per se, because I won't speak for them, I won't defend them. But I need to defend my members. My members have been on the same salary scale since 2017. So how do we justify that? We've been crying over this. A tanker driver will drive from Lagos. All of us are comfortable in our different houses under AC. We don't know how these ACs are powered. the lights are powered, factories are powered.
All right, let me throw a few more questions. Comrade, I have a question for you, but let me let the other ladies do that.
Okay, so I like that you have raised the issues of, salary, non-increment of salaries of NUPENG members. What is government saying to you? Because I want to believe that you're not just announcing these issues now that you have been deliberating with government. What exactly are they saying?
The problem is that nobody's talking about it. And, our problem is, if we are not in the oil and gas, we can engage our employer directly, and general public will not have any impact or feeling about it. But our product, the products that we deal with, has a lot to do with socio-economic situation of the country. So anything we do impacted on the society as well, the general public as well. And that's why we always raise alarm and always crave the indulgence of the general public that, please, we need to do this. It is not because we have pleasure in doing it. Imagine the number of times we have given warning concerning this, and we have not been able to go on it because of our consideration for the general public.
Comrade, let me ask you this question, because I'm so happy that we are here. Now, this issue of subsidy, regulation versus deregulation, many have argued that we don't have money to continue paying subsidy. Now, if we remove subsidy where we let the market forces apply, such that they don't have these fixed rates for these transport marketers, where market forces determine, okay, how much am I paying the transporters based on what their cost, whatever I'm paying them is cost reflective. Now, you're complaining that you've not been paid salary. Government will say, where am I going to get the money from? I'm still paying subsidy. I can't pay you more salary because I'm still paying subsidy. And if what's that, Labour, Ali Baba wants to say carry placard, the first people he goes to is NUPENG. Because the Labour will say, we are going to protest this removal of subsidy. And they come to you, and once NUPENG shuts down, the whole country shuts down. So, therefore, let me come to you now, asking, since you're still complaining about salary and all that, what do you think concerning the subsidy? Do you agree that we should take it off so that market forces will apply and you can get your pay as you expected? Or should we continue to pay subsidy and hope that money will just show up somewhere and they can increase your salary?
This matter has been on ground for quite a while. And Labour and the union are just being blackmailed unnecessarily for the misgovernance in this country for several years. It is not Labour that manages the refineries. It is not Labour. It is the government. It is not Labour that promised that they are going to revive the...
Hello, sir. Please connect him back. We have to answer this question.
Refinery do not arise. Government must do its own bit, its own responsibility. Okay. They owe the general public the responsibility of taking care of their welfare. We owe our member responsibility to take care of their conditions of work. Issue of subsidy is something they need to engage Labour, because we cannot continue to sacrifice our members on the platter, the fact that government is not doing its own bit. I have my responsibility to defend and protect the job interests of my members.
If I can hear you clearly,
it is the responsibility of government to... I have my responsibility to... Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, if I can hear you clearly, I just wanted to bring in a question. So
yes.
You're observing NUPENG and NLC now of any blame in this, because they are just protesting, saying that government has a duty to provide for the welfare of their people. So you're putting the blame on government.
Exactly.
So are you saying now that, what would you suggest would be the solution? Remove subsidy, push the hardship to the people. Hold on a minute, sir. Let me land the question. Or do you have any technical solution to, solving refining abroad at the cost of all of that, landing costs and all of those issues?
Oh, let me take you back a bit. Last year, government engaged us, and we started a discussion. But where has the discussion ended? What have they done concerning even cushioning the effect of anything in the citizen? The inflationary rate is going crazy every day. Transportation cost is going so high. The cost of food is going so high. What has government done since after they engaged labor in December 2020? All the promises.
Comrade, your president is about to go and find 2.something trillion naira to pay subsidy. Let's put these facts on the table. What would you rather? I mean, because yes, we understand subsidies. Trust me, we all would like them to continue to pay. It's the easiest thing to do. But there are some hard choices people got to take. So, in your view, you need salary review. If I'm your employer, I'll say, where would I get the money from? Now, fixed refinery is the same thing. We keep going back to fixed refinery, fixed refinery. If I'm your employer, I'll say, where will I get the money to fix refinery? That would be the first question I'll say.
No, listen. You are saying, where would they get money to fix the refinery? For how many years now? We've been waiting for Godot of Dangote. They've been open only on Dangote finishing his refinery. While ours remain comatose. For how many years? For this regime, over 8 years. You can't the government cannot push away its responsibilities. For 8 years, you couldn't fix this. They should have resigned all this while.
Okay. What were your discussions with the government about last year? You don't ask labor to provide
solution when you are the one that offered to provide solution. You are elected to provide solution.
What alternatives do government have?
Okay, let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll take Unima, we'll take YK and Miriam's question, then we'll wrap up on this. Let me go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Thank you, sir.
Stay tuned.
Not you, Taribuki, not you. Thanks for staying with us. So we still have our guest, Comrade Afolabi Olawale, is still on the phone. And we also have the president of NATO, with Mr. Lawal Uthman. Correct, I said Mr. Uthman. All right, so let me let YK ask a question. Who is it for? Is it for Mr. Uthman or
Mr. Afolabi? Mr.
Afolabi. Okay,
a very short question. You said you were in the talks. You were in talks with the government last year. Could you just tell us what you were talking about?
What was decided?
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Your question, the lady's question initially was to push it back to labor, that government doesn't have money, and where do you want us to get money? The answer straightforward is that government should be courageous enough to do the right thing. Government should be honest enough to do the right thing. We were in discussion with government about issue of removal of subsidy. We knew the country is bleeding. The country needs urgent solution. Because if it collapses, it's on all of us. But there are certain things we ask government to do. And government ought to be honest, be courageous to do them. But if there is no sincerity on the part of government, government should not expect labor to do its own bit for us. Our bit is to protect the job interests of our members. We know if the economy collapses, there will be no job for our members. Yeah, we agree. But at the same time, there are ways you do things in such a way that the effect on the general public will not be so harsh and so destructive. So that you don't give one solution to destroy or to create another ailment.
We're waiting for
the discussion last year. The discussion last year was about rehabilitation of Warri and Port Harcourt refinery. And provision of transport system, and then the conversion of some vehicle to gas, since we have comparative advantage in gas, then improvement in our gas infrastructure. These were the things we expected government to have taken forward, even if you are attempting to remove the subsidy, so that the aftermath of removal of subsidy will not be so destructive on the poor people.
Comrade, this issue of gas you talked about, I read into papers, they've started phase, it's been phased. I heard they started a few phases. I can't remember, was it 200,000 they're trying to start off with? Do you recall it being starting at all? This fuel to gas.
The same way with the other issue we are talking about. let there be transparency. Maybe there is this military psyche still in our leaders, our political leaders, governing us as if we are secondary school and they are the school principals, that they do things without even communicating to the general public, without carrying the stakeholders along. They are not aware of all this.
Okay, so comrade,
imagine, look at the issue of the 621 billion naira. We fought for this as union. Then you are claiming you are doing it. Who are you carrying along? Who can witness what you are doing? Or is this going the same way you have been using our budget, repeating the same road for 20 times in 20 years budget?
I have a question. Okay.
These are not acceptable.
Let me get Mariam to ask a question and we wrap up. Yes.
Okay, I have questions for both of you. So for Mr. Usman, my question is, what exactly is government going to do towards the issue of NATO and the conversation so far? And do we have like a tangible time that this will be sorted out? I know you said a few days. You know, a few days in Nigeria can be a month or so. Did they give us 3 days, 2 days? And what would government need to do for you to pick up again? Then for Comrade, I would like to understand what options you are looking at to environmentally dispose of the adulterated products.
Who should go first?
Let me go to Othman. I might not will take Comrade, but let me take Othman's. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Really, what government needs to do immediately is to ensure that they increase the freight rate, because without the income, look at it, you can provide the whole fuel that you require for the country, but you will have no fuel at the pumps if there is no distribution. You have to ensure that it's effective and efficient distribution for the fuel to go to the stations. So as much as you plan for the subsidy, you have forgotten the link. All over the world, where either there is production or service, distribution, supply chain is key. So as of today, we have this lab. But then, like I said, they have listened to us. They have called us for further meetings. And I am expecting from now probably to the end of the month, we should have something meaningful. Don't forget, yes, the chief executive also has a board. He will sit, review, send to his board, down from the board to the honorable minister, and probably eventually to the president, who is also the substantive minister of it.
We're having some lagging issues. I can't hear you very clearly. But then we appreciate.
In any case, whatever happens, usually there may be arrears. So they will approve and stay effective from probably January.
Thank you very much. We're having trouble hearing you properly. But thank you, gentlemen, for joining the show this morning. We appreciate your comments. We'll keep monitoring and hope that this scarcity will cease as soon as possible. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll bring in somebody who has been comically accused of causing this scarcity. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have with us in the studio a special guest. He's an honorable member of the Lagos State House of Assembly who have been accused to be the problem of the whole of Nigeria on Twitter. Joining us now to speak on youth politics and governance is House of Assembly member Lagos State, Desmond Elliot. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is it that you caused this petrol scarcity?
In fact, I'm sure the water one, the one that water was inside.
It was you that caused it.
It says Desmond.
But it's good to have you.
I'm still looking for the guy, Not Desmond guy. I'm looking for him. Yes.
So how have you been? How is everything? How's your work? Because, I mean, we heard that you're doing a lot of work in Surulere. I know that's your constituency.
Yes.
A few things we wanted to talk to you about, especially young people. Yeah. I know you got in trouble for this a few years ago. But the fact that we want young people to get involved in politics. Politics is around the corner next year. And we're asking everybody to get their PVCs. Right. We saw quite a number of them come respectfully to protest at the NSAS. And we saw others who were like hoodlums, burning down property, which got a lot of people angry, absolutely justifiably so. But what are you doing as a youth leader to get these Nigerians, who many of them are totally skeptical and cynical about this government, totally. They don't believe in this government, and in all their mind is that, let's get them out. But they don't even have a PVC. So what are you doing as a youth leader to get Nigerian youth involved in politics?
Firstly, I'd like to say it's an honor to be amongst wonderful ladies.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so real quickly, you were right when you said at that point in time there were two things. You had people who were doing the right cause. You had people, the hoodlums, who came in to do other things. And, you know, at the end of the day, it still doesn't stop the fact that we're all Nigerians and we need to do stuff as Nigerians. In the paradigm of the whole Nigerian strata, you find out that the youth make up the largest group of people. And if you do not engage these youth, especially having them have a seat at the table, then they feel lost. They are away. So you also were right when you said some were angry when you found out the hoodlums were taking it. Unfortunately, I happen to be on that part of the people that were angry when things were beginning to go south. And we're like, okay, this is not the thing. The truth is you cannot stop pushing and moving forward. And that's what I push to the youth. You can't stop. The tweets and the talk all the time about they won't listen to us. You don't need them to listen to you. That's the idea. Yeah. You don't need them to listen to you. You need to keep pushing. You need hate me, hate everything about me, but it doesn't stop the fact that Nigeria must progress. Do you understand? Yeah, so Nigeria must progress. So telling the truth sometimes, they say it's bitter, it's a bitter pill, and that's the fact that you must go and get yourself registered. Get your PVCs.
I read a lot of tweets when you were coming about how they faced you during that instance because of some of your comments. How are you going to get them to trust you again? Because from what I read, the youth were not happy with you.
Exactly.
And they may not even want to listen to what you have to say.
Okay, so the truth is, I was one of the first people, in fact, from the State House of Assembly, when the whole thing started, I was one of the first people to stand up to say, listen, government, listen to the people. And the people agreed. The few days later, a lot of people were arrested in Area C command. I was actually at plenary. By the time I came out, I saw my phone flooded, you know, with messages, where is Desmond, this is your call. And I ran all the way to, drove all the way to Area C. I didn't leave Area C and Panti till 2 a.m. to free almost 15 people, make sure they were freed. And how is it possible that in 2 days, somebody just changes? You say, it's not possible. So it means that, come on, Nigerians, let's think about it for a moment. Almost everything I have done, even in my constituency, has to be a youth promotion program. Right. So at what point would it be that he's now turning? So the only thing is remain focused, keep pushing, keep talking to those who want to listen, and keep telling them that PVCs are very important. Right. So we must make that change.
Right. Okay, so yes, a lot of youths will say, we've heard this before, keep pushing, get your PVCs. But the grouse is, they will say our votes are not, they don't really count. What we have to say does not really matter. The government already has who they want to put in there, and it is designed in such a way that Nigerian politics is designed in such a way that you just put your cronies in there, and to be young and to have no affiliations, it's difficult for you to push past this design. Is it true? Was it true for you?
Okay,
Did
so
you need a godfather to be where you are today? Okay, so
I think at the end of the day, saying the truth is what's important. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks, but just being truthful to what is truthful. And for me, being truthful is the fact that this is what worked for me. Did I need someone to get into politics? No. But did I need someone to get into my position? Yes. And so is when you go to so many other organizations. It's not just Nigerian politics, American politics. You can't be a Republican position anywhere without going through Trump. Yes. At least as at last week.
Or be mentored by a Republican.
You understand? Or mentored by somebody in the Republican Party. So you definitely need someone to go. I think the idea, which you cannot blame the youth for, is the fact that things from way past, not this dispensation, not even this republic. The republic before this, you always had people not trusting government. Then we have young people coming out now to say, we want to make changes. So if I'm talking to the youth and I'm saying, let's push, let's move, go get your PVC, they will listen to us, don't worry, move. Make sure you trace from your polling booth, don't just sit down and drink and go and sit down. Okay. Move it all the way to the offices.
I've been hearing you talk truth.
Yeah.
You know, what we see, what is facing you is backing me.
Yes.
And so a lot of people, I remember during the hashtag, I kind of joined to hate on you because I felt you were younger, closer to the generation, and you were one of those in the house. And rather than focus on the hate, focus on the issues. And so I felt you were responding to issues. Now, in retrospect, seeing what happened in Canada, what happened in the U.S., in the Congress, and it was called an insurrection. It happened in Canada now, they're using a tougher hand. But when it happened here, they didn't allow government to take control. They called it government against people. So they sort of incite, just like you had the Arab Spring, incite other nations, their youth against their people and all of that. And then you sit down and look at it that way, you see that it is tougher being on the government side and trying to do, because the governor of Lagos said, all respect to him, he did his entire best, but at the end of the day, he still had to carry the entire blame. So would you say that the truth is...
It was the governor and I, please.
No. Your own don't rest now. He's still facing, the white paper came out and it's still on his head. So would you say in retrospect that the truth is that the protest was a bad thing, or was it not needed, or did it end up... What exactly is the truth?
Okay, so the protest was needed. I mean, there's hardly any administration where you never had a protest. Protest was needed. So ask me if the longevity of the protest was necessary. Then that's where we'll now start sitting down to say, wait a minute. Didn't you think, okay, maybe at some point we could have, listened, regrouped, done another protest the next year, let's re-strategize, let's do the next year, So I'm not here to criticize whether it was good or was not good. At the end of the day, the fact is the youth realized that they had power. Now, don't lose that power. Like I keep saying, it's not about me. It's not about the governor. It's about the future of my kids. So I used to have my family in Canada before I came into politics. I did the reverse. I brought my family back from Canada. My 2 kids refused to come. I had to fly to Canada to bring them back. Because at the end of the day, you must be an example, no matter how silent it is. You must be an example. I don't have to shout it out and say, no. The truth is, live by example. So you're right to have said some people are taking it. During the MKO crisis, a lot of us were here. We saw what happened. It didn't take years till this present administration had to admit what had happened. The truth will always come out. That's something about the truth.
I was having an argument, not argument, a discussion. It's a group of people recently, and we were all talking about this Asiwaju's intention to run for office. And I made a statement, which I'm not even sure if it was the right or wrong, I just said it. And I said, if Asiwaju should lose this presidency, as in rightfully, if he loses the right way, in the sense that Nigerian youth came en masse and voted against him, he would accept the defeat in good faith because he's a progressive. I don't know him personally like that, but I know him to the point that he has always preached progressiveness. Now, the point I'm trying to make is the realization that it's okay to have a dissenting view. That's one of the things why your view is created, to show that you all can have different views and we can still be at the same table. I have never wanted to bring people together for having the same views. Let's be different. So if you vote Asiwaju, if you vote for an Igbo man, if you vote for a Ishekiri man, if we are different, let us at least vote. At least vote, first and foremost. So our problem is the participation, which is what she said earlier. Regardless of, because Asiwaju is in the ring now, everybody, they already know who's the winner, we're not interested. But what can we do to get Nigerians to just come out and vote?
I'm glad that this program is called Your View, because that's the truth. And I'm glad as well that you called Asiwaju, because for me, I've had more than one occurrence and occasion to be with him. And this is someone who didn't know me from Adam, didn't know my father, didn't know my mother, didn't know nobody. And I kept going and I became consistent. And he says, what, come guys, let's give this guy a chance. Okay? So this is a progressive person, like you said. He's someone who believes strongly in it. And we've learned from it. And from 99 to today, You've seen, why is Lagos one of the very few states, being the 6th largest economy in Africa? Why is it being able to progress? It's not about the person and what you hear, which is what I want to explain to the youth. You don't like him, why? You hate him, why? Okay, I love him, why? So let's know, let's explain, let's discuss as youth. What are your intentions towards us as young people or younger people? You understand? We want to have a voice, want to be able to say these are our things. So let's listen. So this is a man who listened to me, who listened to other people, who has so many youth. Go to Lagos State House of Assembly. It has a cross strata of people from 30s, 40s, and maybe 50s. You know, so if this is a progressive mind moving forward, and he's saying, you know what, I want to offer this to the country, you don't have to accept it. But you don't have to condemn those who are accepting him. Do you understand? Because they will also respect your views.
You must not leave this seat without me asking this question. So your constituency had a relief bridge that you constructed.
Yes.
And you had your picture put there.
Called the Paco Bridge.
Why go do Paco Bridge? Why must you put your name?
Thank you.
Why?
You see,
Why?
what I've discovered in Nigeria, when you can't, you try to want to explain as you are at that process.
Yes.
You look at it and say, okay, you know what, just leave on. Just make a patch. Make with the move. Because the truth is, if I explain on every single thing, I will lose focus on what's important, which is I have a short time to deliver to the youth of my constituency that I am responsible for, and I have a short time as well to deliver in terms of democracy. They want to say, Desmond, my kids want to ask me, Daddy, this one that you've gone, you've left acting to do this, so what are you doing there?
So what happened with that?
So it was during the COVID period. A young girl, 13, had died in the canal. So we went to a place called Fuja to see the mom, me and my team. So when we got there, we saw the mom, obviously the only child. The mom was crying, she was devastated. So we got a call that they found the girl's body at Shita. And then we told the mom, okay, don't worry, let me quickly go. So we went with some of my team members. There was just one line that crossed the canal from this end to that end. Some of my members who were younger than me refused to cross. I crossed it. I went, I saw the body, they pulled out the body and everything. When they pulled out the body, so the community came to meet me. Honorable Emma Benusa, Ejo, Sherry B, Bridge Washe. You understand? About to share. Fair, but if we are low, money elu.
How much is it?
He said, 800,000. Okay. Okay. Me, 800 sing. Man, we need 400.
Okay.
I now called one of the good boys.
Yes.
His name is Bana. Okay. Bana, please make sure these people do what they need to do.
Yes. 2
weeks later, Bana says, we've gotten to a particular stage. I give them extra 400, yes. Which is 800,000. And I left. They finished the bridge. They now say, Honorable, we finished it. We've been on this thing, begging so many governments to do this. They didn't refuse. We want to put your... I said, no. I said, this is not me. This is not my... I have done roads. I have done school. I have done the school, Itolo Girls. A whole block of flats. And I didn't put my picture. So why would I not put my picture in? They say, no, Honorable, we want to show that we are proud that you did this. So I must say this categorically on national TV. I didn't personally build the bridge. Yeah. I did not put my picture up. Yes. It was done. So the community did it for good, and other people took it for that. And how do I start explaining to every Nigerian?
So they did a Paco job with 800,000 naira.
See, you know, at the end of the day, the way community is, you don't question. They asked you, they brought it. The capital guy was there. Right there, he works there. So, you know, so do the things. The other one about the toilet, I've never built toilet in my life. Never built toilet in my life. I just went to Ladi Lawansin, who was the former commissioner. I went to visit him. And then I heard him talking about the Austrian people coming to do a project. You can't be a legislator and a representative and you're hearing something is coming. Honorable Commissioner Kilo says, they want to do these biofuel toilets, blah, blah, blah. I say, Zelayo, bring to Surulere, bring. He says, okay, he's going to give me 3 slots. Puts one in around the Rick Mall, puts one Body Thomas, and puts one in Baja, Love Garden. And he says, okay, that's it. Austrian government, they did it, they built it, they finished everything. And he said, Honorable, come and see what you've done. Next thing, The whole world says Desmond is building toilets.
We have to wrap up with Mariam.
Sorry, Mariam. You are young. You are considerably young. You are known as a youth.
A little above 40.
That's still young.
A little above.
How come you are supporting somebody who is elderly for presidency?
So I just came back from the House, Westminster. I went on training, thanks to Mr. Speaker as well. So true training. This is not going to have fun because you're there with them from morning till evening. Yeah. And I saw, with due respect, I saw people with gray hairs growing to this point. People had bent backs. And I asked myself, so why are we... So it's not about the age, it's about the efficiency of what you have here. It's about how here works. That's not to say do not give youth the opportunity. I don't want to be misquoted to say I'm supporting this, but I'm just saying that listen to what the person has. Joe Biden, you have other elderly people. And
Joe Biden is old.
And you have other younger people.
You got to run anyway. Unfortunately, we ran out of time.
And you have younger people. So my point is, let's wait. Everybody bring what you can offer to the table and tell me why you think you are the best candidate.
Not about the age, but what you can bring.
What you can offer.
That's all we can take on the show.
Thank you.
Honorable Desmond Elliot.
Yeah.
So,
finally, sorry, please, I don't want to close your show. I have a medical program coming up on Friday. It's surgical, so we're treating a lot of people, and the doctors from the Association of Resident Doctors in Luth are doing it free. Oh, wow. You know, and we've done, out of 54, we've done about 25 so far. Serious cases from fibroid, hysterectomy, and I know all the terms. And on Friday, we're going to have lots of screenings, prostate.
Where?
Love Garden.
Love Garden.
10 o'clock, come. I mean, it's free.
Where is that?
Love Garden. Love Garden. And see me. More Love Garden.
More Love Garden.
More Love Garden. Where there is love. Where we share love.
Oh, now.
Love Garden has been there from there.
We have to run. Thank you very much. So 10 a.m. Love Garden, be there to get surgery on any
No, not surgery. Now you get the screenings.
Screening.
Pap smear, breast screening, cervical, prostate, everything. You know.
That is all we can take on the show. So have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.